I said, read it slow. I said, now do me a favor, read the first 4 words and stop. He says, and when he had, he stopped. I said, now read the next one. He says, oh, I see. Can you see? How can you, in the face of God, open 17 and you say it's nothing?
Amen.
I said, now, that's before we go to the quote. You know the brother thanked me profusely? He said, the kindness with which you spoke to me. I didn't call him a devil. I didn't say you were blind. You're blind as a bat. You know how it goes. You went to hell if you don't know. Just read it slowly. I said, God speaks in loud silence. He said, loud silence? I said, yes. And when he had, and I said, now let me read to you and you complete the sentence. You know, it's cool. Complete the following sentence. And when he had, he said, open. I said, and when he had, open. By the time he put down the phone, he said, Brother George, I need to do a lot of homework.
Amen.
Starting from here. I said, God opened that 7th seal, Brother Branham says, 2,000 years ago. He only held back the mystery of what he said until Brother Branham.
Yes, sir.
But in the days of the voice of the... Now give me Revelation 10 and we'll be closing, brother. Give me verse 1, verse 2. There's something I need to emphasize, which I emphasized with the brother, and it helped. Watch Revelation 10:1. God starts a sentence with end. And those of you who've studied English, I haven't much of it, but those of you who are raised speaking English, you are told that you don't start a sentence with a conjunction. End is a conjunction. I said, but God is the master of languages. He breaks the rules.
Amen.
He starts with end. Give me verse 2, my brother. End. Verse 3. End. Verse 4. Verse 5. Verse 6. Give me verse 8. Give me verse 9. 10. 11. Give me verse 7. The only verse where God changes the monotony. You see, God is most wise. Look at me, all of you, before I close. And, even class, and. You fall asleep because it's monotonous, and. But God knew that there is something He doesn't want you to miss. With all those verses opening with and, when it comes to the crucial verse, that will all wake up. But what? But yeah, but in the days of the because there are people who teach that verse 7 is divorced from all the other verses. No. It's very much intertwined with verse 1 all the way down. Amen. So, if you read it the Jewish way, give me verse 1, brother. Read it the Jewish way. Remember the Jewish way, we read from the left to the right, but the Jews read from the right to the left. If you take the word end the Jewish way, it's DNA.
Amen.
Verse 2, DNA. Verse 3, DNA. Verse 4, 5, DNA. Verse 8, verse 9, verse 10, verse 11, DNA, DNA, DNA. But when you read verse 7, the Jewish way, a tub. A tub full. That's why Satan hates Revelation 10. Because God's DNA for the bride is hidden in a tub full of it. The laws of reflection are most beautiful, see? So now go back to that Exodus 29:20, and we will close in a little while. It says in Exodus 29:20, now you kill the ram. You take his blood, watch, and put it where? Upon the tip of the right ear of Aaron, upon the tip of the right ear of his sons, upon the thumb of their right hand, upon the great toe of their right foot. Why? It's a law of reflection. The blood, the life is in the blood. Yes, right? And if that ram is a type of Christ, then his blood is his life. Why put it on the right ear? Let him that has an ear. If you hear right, you will walk right, and you turn out right. people to write to. It's a law of reflection. You hear the message right. You walk right. You'll come out right.
Amen.
All these things hidden right in there. Now, let's close with Numbers 4, verse 5. The others I'll just rattle and let you go. Watch Numbers 4, verse 5. And when the camp sets forward, Aaron shall come and his sons, and they shall take down the covering veil and cover the ark with it. Watch the next verse. And shall put thereon the covering of badger skins, and shall spread over it a cloth wholly of blue. What a hidden beauty. They now must carry the ark. They are moving forward.
Amen.
Then God says, you take the covering veils, the curtains that veil the holies of holies from the rest of the tabernacle. Let that be the first covering over the ark. Then the second covering, badger skins, the last one on top, a blue cloth. So the ark is covered by 3 things. Now when that ark has to be unveiled, the first pull, are you hearing me? The first pull is the top one, blue. But you still haven't seen the ark. The second pull, badger skins, you still haven't seen the ark, is when you pull the third one. The third pull unveils the necessary. It's a law of reflection that when Brother Benham comes at the end, for us to get to see that mercy seat in plain view, first pull, take them by the hand. You haven't arrived yet. Second pull, badger skins. You haven't arrived yet. Third pull, the covering veil, mercy seat. The law of reflection is most powerful. Amen. That's why the prophet says in Hear Ye Him, he says they took a lump of gold and the man would beat the gold and beat the gold to get the dross out. He says he never stops beating until he sees what? His own reflection. A symbol of Christ in you and me. How sometimes life beats at us. And it isn't nice when the beating takes place. I, for one, have been through a bit. Beating, and God's still beating. When you think, now, I've just survived this, I'm just about to catch my breath, something else comes along. Don't be discouraged. Amen. The beater will stop when he sees a reflection. Amen. I often say, when God showed Joseph the dream that he will be king one day, he didn't say king, he said, but your brethren will worship you. Oh, how wonderful. Who would like to see his brethren bow before him? But God didn't show him the pit. Thrown in there by his own brethren. God didn't show him the Ishmaelites haggling over his price. God didn't show him Potiphar's wife and the false accusation. You see what I'm saying? So God shows us wedding supper. Woo! I want to get to the wedding supper. God shows you new city on earth. Lord, I want to be there. He doesn't show you the in-between. This is going to happen, that's going to happen. Until I found a quote before I close. Brother Branham says, Job 1.
Amen.
He says, we were there when God showed us. He said, look, that's what your destiny is going to be. Yes, oh, hallelujah. He says, and then God showed us, but you have to go through this. So how is it we don't remember? He says, when you bypass that, you have the memory of that. Now you're trapped in this earthly body, you can't remember quite. But when the word is preached,
yes, sir.
You see,
Amen.
This rings a bell. The prophet says, only 1/10 of your memory is what operates. The other 9 upon 10 you left in the field. That's why when the word is preached, the 1/10 says, I've heard that somewhere.
Amen.
So he says, God showed you, and then let you bypass the body that remembers everything. Because when Brother Branham went beyond the curtain of time, the believers there were already telling him how it's going to end. Because they stepped back in their theology. They said, you'll be judged. Yes, Will Paul be judged also? Yes. And you will pass the test. Did they tell him that? They said that you will be accepted. They already know the end, but why? Because they are in the end. So God did show us, but then let us bypass that body and step into this one with only 1/10 working. And it's Albert Einstein that proved that man's brain is only 1/10 of its capacity. And look what they can achieve with 1/10. What more when you're back into the fullness? You know as you know. That's why over there's no time. Everything is day. Everything is today. They know yesterday, today, and what's to come. Amen. No wonder Paul says, I have not seen, ear has not heard the wonderful things that God has prepared for them, beloved. The more reflection quickly. I've got 10 minutes to the 1 hour. The Lord's Prayer. The Lord's Prayer. Thy will be done where? On earth. Some versions say in earth, which is beautiful. This earth also.
Amen.
While God's will is done on earth, the devil's will is more, of course, because he took the earth from the fall. But thy will be done on earth. But the version that says in earth, it means you.
Amen.
You're asking God's will to be done in earth.
Yes, sir. Amen.
As it is
In heaven.
law of
Glory.
reflection. Can you see that?
Amen.
You're actually praying the law of reflection. What is the Urim and Thummim? Urim and Thummim in Hebrew. Law of reflection. Whatever you say will be true. Those 12 stones will reflect. If it's not true, there'll be no reflection. Amen? It's the law of reflection. And the scripture says, whatsoever we bind on earth, where will it be bound? It's the law of reflection. Look at the prodigal son. I'm rushing. He comes back. He says, Father, I've sinned before heaven and you. Why is he bringing heaven into it? He's actually saying, there's a blueprint in heaven that I must live by. I must follow that plan, the guideline. But I went astray. So, Father, forgive me. I went astray here, but I also went astray from the blueprint.
Amen.
So, young people, actually, you sitting in church tonight is proof that God ordained you.
Amen.
He wants you to follow this message. Amen. So if tomorrow you're going to go back to your old life, you are leaving the blueprint. Whatever life you live out there, if it's not according to what you know is the truth, you are disobeying the law of reflection. I wish I had heard this message at your age. I was 20 when it found me. I wish it found me the day I was born.
Amen.
Huh?
That's right.
You see, it's when it strikes you and you realize, what wasted time.
Yeah.
Had I found God in the days of my youth, as the Bible says,
Yeah, that's right.
how much more would I have achieved?
Yes, sir.
When you have the opportunity. Amen. Oh, so much to say. No wonder Paul, when he writes, he says these Old Testament things are allegories, that they are showing you a shadow of what's to come. Oh, there was this young boy, Brother Branham says, he would pass this statue in downtown city, downtown somewhere to square. And this boy, from the very first day of going to school, he would stand and look at the statue, and stand and look at it, go to school, come back and walk around it and look at it. And after 15, 16, 18 years of doing it, one day he was standing there and tourists came with their cameras. They weren't taking the picture of the statue, they were now taking a picture of him. And he said, why? You should be taking the picture of the statue. They said, oh no, you are the statue on 2 feet. The prophet says, the longer he looked at that statue, his features changed. He started looking like the statue. As I close, I had the privilege to go to Madame Tussauds in London. You know, that's where they make effigies of Mandela, Queen Elizabeth, Prince Charles. And it was not a busy day that day. So I went in and I was looking through this one and Winston Churchill, and I was coming up, and there was Queen Elizabeth. I stood, and a few statues down the line I saw some Asian people coming. And they were looking, cameras, and one was, oh, Prince Charles. Oh, Winston Churchill. They're coming. So something said, standing next to Mandela, I froze. And I said, Mandela, who is this? In something silly, I moved my eyes. But you see, law of reflection, I can go on and on because in Madame Tussauds, they are making a body that reflects somebody who lived. And the mind locks up to say, no, these are dead effigies. So I changed the picture. I moved my eye. And I thought, as I left, laughing, they laughed after a while, I thought, yeah, if we are becoming like Christ, we are becoming like this message, very soon, before the rapture, these effigies must move.
Hallelujah.
Branham says they speak limbs back into existence, right? What about the boy? Brother Branham speaks about the boy who had never seen a mirror before. And suddenly one day, as he was crossing, he saw somebody looking like him. He stopped. He rolled his eyes, they rolled their eyes. He moved his fingers, they moved their fingers. And then man says, Mama, that's me. And Brother Branham uses that to say, you see, we should be reflecting Christ. God have mercy. Brother Branham draws teaching on the church ages in the tabernacle. And while he's drawing the church ages, the hand of God reflects.
Hallelujah. Glory.
And 300 people or more saw it. Some brothers are still alive that said they saw a hand drawing exactly at the back of the wall. And Brother Branham himself says, you see, it was a reflection of what I was teaching. God reflecting into the back to prove that I was telling the truth. On and on and on and on we could go. It's so beautiful until many of you have seen this picture of the prophet and the pillar of fire around him. When the prophet then expounds on it, he says, you know what? He says, that is the reflection of the throne in heaven.
Amen.
God allowed his throne in heaven to come down and surround the man for the hour.
Yes.
And the voice that spoke, though we identified with William Branham's vocal cords, it was Christ through him. Is that right?
Amen.
That's why the prophet says, when you hear the word preached, have you heard from your theophany?
Amen.
Amen.
Closing, he sees a vision of the bride. Early bride, he sees Miss America in the churches. He says, then the voice said, here comes another preview of the last day bride. And you know what Brother Branham says? He says the last day bride was a reflection of the early bride.
Amen.
She was much according to the word, as Paul's early bride much according to the word. Is that right? And as I close, the day you listen to the message, works is faith expressed. What? Works is faith expressed. Now, do yourself a little favor. If you have a pen and a paper with you, just write down W for works. W, because it's works, right? Write down W, and then write the next alphabet. Is, write an I. Faith, write an F. Expressed, write an E. What does it spell? Wife.
Amen.
So that message, works as faith expressed, reflected in the first letters is the wife.
Amen.
The bride of Christ will reflect the works of God. Message of the hour. God bless you.
Praise the Lord. It still hasn't changed. The only one thing I have to say on Friday, the deacon must take his watch.
Okay.
He's been no time looking at his watch. He's worried about the time. But it's early days here. Amen.
Amen.
Just thank you, Brother George. just think that there been an expression of Christ in this day
Amen.
through the prophet.
Amen.
He was that reflection of the Lord Jesus Christ. Praise God, and we're going to be part of that reflection. Amen. We're going to become the female part. Amen. And she has the final voice.
Amen.
So we're certainly grateful for the message we heard tonight. Praise the Lord. What else can I say? We close now. It's already gone 9 o'clock. And there will be a cup of tea and something to eat if you so wish. In the back there. Thank you for coming. Thank you for your patience, for putting up with the double booking. But praise God. I'll just ask Brother Jimmy if he would come and sing us a song before we close. I thought a good song would be "Here Comes the Bride."
Amen.
You know that one, Brother Jimmy. Praise the Lord. God bless you. And Friday night at 7 o'clock, we'll be back here. Brother George will be preaching. So you're all welcome. Bring friends. Still got room. We've still got street chairs. And enjoy the word while we have access to it. Because, you know, we won't always have this opportunity. That's right. You know? It's coming a day that it will stop. And so we want to do all we can while it's light. Amen? So praise the Lord. So God bless you. Brother Jimmy, if you don't mind, we'll just stand and sing a song.
Amen.
Amen. What a celebration. Hallelujah. I think that would join our heart, amen, tonight. Now worship God as the Lord of God, amen. Let's sing that. What a celebration on that day.
Yes, Lord.
Oh, we can be far away. Heaven's bridegroom has descended. That's the light of the saints. Heaven comes sweetly ringing.
Yes.
While angels start to bless you.